Thanks for the follow, orangutan.
As all of you have committed a breach of faith, the Archbishop will now pass judgment.
Inciting a kingdom noble to rebel. Unlawful entry. The attempted assassination of the Archbishop. An attack on the Holy Mausoleum. It is unnecessary to go on, followers of the Western Church.
What? We have nothing to do with the Western Church.
You have already been identified. Please spare us your second-rate theater.
Dishonoring a holy ceremony is worthy of death for a member of the Church. You are well past the hope of redemption. If you have any grace remaining, you will willingly offer your life as atonement for this crime.
No, this isn't what we were told would happen. We've been deceived!
It's no use arguing. Whatever your excuse, the punishment stands.
So we're going from, no, it wasn't us, to, well, maybe even if it was us, we weren't told that this was gonna happen. I'm like, you guys, every single one of your enemies on the map was called Western Church Soldier. You are with the Western Church, you don't get to argue.
May your souls find peace as they return to the goddess.
Wait, please! The goddess would never forgive you for our execution!
Monster. We know you've already slaughtered many of our fellow brethren like this.
This concludes the investigation. Please remove these poor lost souls from my sight.
There you have it. It seems the assassination attempt and the attack on the Holy Mausoleum were all the work of the Western Church. As for the masked knight who led the attack, I'm afraid his whereabouts are yet unknown.
It makes no sense that the Western Church would try such a thing.
It just goes to show that the Church of Seros is not completely united. The Church is led by those here at Garreg Mach, and the Western Church doesn't have a strong voice on its governing council. I imagine the Western Church has harbored some resentment toward the Central Church for a while now.
And Byleth is completely clueless. We are a teacher at this religious academy, but we have we have no knowledge of any of these churches. And for your question, Orangutan, it's because I have put everybody in the summer outfit. That's because I really like the summer outfit. I like it more than the standard uniform, to be honest. And it also helps me tell apart who I've already recruited and who I haven't. If they are in the summer outfit, I have already recruited them. If they are in a different outfit, it means I still need to get them.
Ah, that's right. Gerald did say that you grew up outside the influence of the Church. The Church of Seros is split into a few branches across Fodlan. The largest being the Central Church, which is headquartered right here at Garreg Mach. The Western Church lies far to the west of Castle Gaspar, where Lord Lonato held his rebellion. It's situated on the far side of the kingdom's most impressive fortress, Arian Road. I imagine the Western Church's intention was to eliminate Lady Rhea, and the Central Church's authority along with her. Naturally, the Knights will be riding out to question the Western Church's top officials. Or rather, to punish them.
When they do, Your Highness, we will likely be asked to help carry out said punishment.
Indeed. Now, I don't mean to be rude, Professor, but I must say your situation is rather unusual. For someone to grow up in Fodlan, and yet never have any contact with the Church of Seros it's hard to believe.
I wonder why the Archbishop would hire someone like that as a professor.
So, those people from the Western Church were... Lady Rhea had them killed, didn't she?
Well, of course she did. Going against the teachings of Seros like that, quite unforgivable.
Those who stray must be punished, I suppose. That said, Professor,
There you are, Professor. It seems Lady Rhea would like a word with you. Come with me.
This conversation here with your students, no matter which house you're in, everybody is like, oh, why did she have to kill them? Oh my god, this is scary. I think if you play the Black Eagles, Bernadetta says something like, is she gonna kill us too? And I'm like, bitch, do you plan to attack the church? Do you plan to raid the Holy Mausoleum, attempt to assassinate the Archbishop, and just incite a kingdom noble to rebel? Do you have any plans of doing any of those 3 things? If not, then I'm pretty certain you don't have to worry about a thing. Like, it's not like these guys were just random people who were picked off the street and executed. They were caught in the middle of an attempt at attacking the Holy Mausoleum. It's like, if I were to break into, like, cathedrals in the Vatican, I would expect to be punished as well. Like, I'm sorry. Actions have consequences. Welcome to real life. It's just wild.
The Archbishop lives. Not that I had ever placed much faith in those swine from the Western Church.
I have news, both good and bad. The remains of Saros were not in a tomb. However, something else was. The Sword of the Creator.
Ah, the weapon wielded by that thief, the King of Liberation.
Thief? Huh. At any rate, it is now in the hands of the Academy's new professor.
So yeah, Nemesis is known in the in-universe lore as the King of Liberation, who was basically gifted weapons and power by Saros to strike down false gods, but then went against their teachings and became kind of power hungry, and so had to be taken out by Saros. The truth is, and I'm actually going to spoil this now because this route is never going to explain it, but it is kind of relevant for context. Nemesis was never gifted power by the goddess. It was not a gift. He took it. He was a thief, and we're going to get into what exactly he stole in order to get that power in chapter 11. But yeah, Nemesis was not a good guy. And as a matter of fact, if you play Verdant Wind, you will learn even more about that. And I don't want to spoil all of Verdant Wind, so I'm not going to explain it right yet. But yeah, definitely not the heroic figure that the in-game story made him out to be.
I doubt you will be surprised to hear that the Crest Stone had already been removed from the sword when it was found.
As expected. It would be foolish to keep both in the same location.
There's more. The professor was able to awaken the sword's true power. Even without the Crest Stone, the sword glowed red. The professor's crest is compatible. There is no mistaking it.
Absurd. Using a relic without its crest stone should be impossible. The King of Liberation's bloodline should not even...
They must be allowed to keep it, for now. I do not have enough information about the professor to act. As for your request, I assent. The Death Knight is at your command. Use him well.
Good. I believe I will enjoy this a great deal.
So now we're just handing over the superpowered mass-murdering henchman. Awesome.
I cannot thank you enough for defeating those invaders in the Holy Mausoleum, and especially for protecting the Sword of the Creator. That sword is one of the hero's relics, and the most precious artifact in the Church's possession. It is also a weapon of terrifying power. For now, I will entrust the sword to you. Please, use it wisely.
Lady Rhea, wait!
Yeah.
Do you truly mean to give the Sword of the Creator to this stranger? Surely it is not the sort of thing one hands over so readily, even to someone who has the ability to wield it.
I'm upset of here.
If someone like Nemesis were to appear again, all of Vodland would be consumed by war. Nemesis, the King of Liberation. He is an ancient king of mankind who was defeated by Saros over 1,000 years ago. When Fodlan was attacked by wicked gods, it is said that the goddess gifted Nemesis with the Sword of the Creator. Nemesis used that sword to defeat the wicked gods, saving all of Fodlan. Henceforth, he was dubbed the King of Liberation. However, his power began to corrupt him until he himself turned to the darkness. Saint Saros was forced to destroy him.
I find it kind of hilarious that Byleth has, in universe, had at least 3 or 4 months by now to familiarize herself with the church, with the teachings of the church, and still does not know that there are actually 3 separate branches of the church, and still does not know who Nemesis is. Like, that is actually kind of impressive. That's like if somebody were to make you a teacher of a Catholic school and 3 months later you had still not read the Bible. It's like, what are you even doing? What is wrong with you?
Lady Rhea, I beg you to reconsider. Given a little more time, we could more accurately assess this stranger's abilities.
No. I have faith, Seteth. Faith that our friend here will not be corrupted by wickedness. Since the death of Nemesis, none have been able to wield the sword of the Creator. Now, after all those long years of being sealed away, it has returned and found a new master.
I understand. As you wish, Lady Rhea. There you have it, Professor. See that you do not betray the trust the Archbishop has seen fit to bestow upon you.
The Sword of the Creator? The King of Liberation? Each tale is more confusing than the last. And I really can't read that Rhea at all. That sword is clearly precious. So why is she so keen to gift the thing to you? I feel as though we have become entangled in a mystery.
I hate to break this to you.
There's one more thing that has been plaguing me.
But you are the mystery, you little gremlin.
The Sword of the Creator. It somehow feels distinct from other relics we have seen. Such as the one that... Oh goodness, what was her name? Yes, her! The Sword of the Creator is different from her Thunderbrand in one key way. It bears a hole, where something should have been, but is no more. I despise not knowing what is going on. It frightens me. And yet, I place my trust in you. I must.
Welcome to the mortal experience.
Please swear to cut a path that is your own.
All right. Finally, time for month number 5. An hour and a half later than usually, but here we go.
Part 1. White Clouds. Verdant Rain Moon. Tower of Black Winds. The ceaseless rains that satiate the verdant landscape of Fodlan are accompanied by fierce winds and mighty roars of thunder. This abundance of rain, sparkling as it falls against beams of emerging sunlight, is a constant reminder to the people of Fodlan that nature is ever wild and unpredictable. For when the rain finally does take pause, the clouds part and give way to a glorious rainbow.
There's our 2 deers on the right side, picking up a shipwrecked sailor. That's gonna come up in the next mural. Like, it's actually really neat if you look at the murals for the different months. You can follow the story of the deer, because the deer just goes through the entire mural line. It's there in almost every single mural. And it actually has a better story than some of the characters in this game, I'm afraid to say.
I have a new mission for you, Professor. I would like for you to take your students into Kingdom territory to eliminate some thieves.
They stole a hero's relic from House Gautier of the Holy Kingdom of Fargus, the Lance of Ruin. Their leader's name is Miklan. He is apparently a disowned son of House Gautier. I believe it had something to do with his lack of a crest. Such happenings are fairly common within the kingdom.
The Crestless cannot unleash the goddess's power even if they possess a relic. Nonetheless, they are still capable of simply wielding those weapons.
They The hero's relics are immensely powerful weapons. We must meet this threat with adequate force. Unfortunately, most of the Knights of Seiros are away from the monastery, purging the apostates of the Western Church. So we are entrusting you with this mission. After all, you wield the Sword of the Creator, which is more than capable of opposing any relic.
The Sword of the Creator is a powerful weapon well beyond the other relics. You have nothing to fear. However, to ensure that no harm comes to the students, we will also send the monastery's most skilled individuals to aid you.
I must remind you that you are expected to conduct yourself in a manner befitting the wielder of that holy sword.
Spoilers, this very skilled individual, on easy mode, he is very skilled. He can basically solo the entire map. On hard, he will last maybe 2 or 3 turns against the enemies. On maddening, he dies on turn 1. Completely useless. Just forget about him.
Also, you should know that Professor Hanneman has been looking for you. That is all.
I heard about our mission for this month. So, we are to eradicate thieves in Kingdom territory. I'm sorry for dragging you into the Kingdom's petty squabbles. This should not be your burden to bear, but my own. Thank you, Professor. Hearing you say that puts my mind at ease.
Your Highness?
Rodrigue!
It's been ages!
It's been a long time. 2 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Indeed, Your Highness. You've grown so much in those years. I hardly recognize you.
This is Rodrigue, an old friend of my father's. I believe I've mentioned him, if you recall. When my father died 4 years ago, he looked after me as though I were his own son.
Ha ha! You flatter me, Your Highness. It was my honor to care for such a fine young man. It's nice to finally meet you, Professor. My son, Felix, has mentioned you on occasion.
What brings you to the monastery, Rodrigue? Is it the thieves plaguing the kingdom?
I'm afraid so. This is not merely a problem for House Gautier, but for everyone. The thieves have set up their headquarters in Fraldaria's territory, and are mercilessly pillaging the villagers of that area.
Yes, Malguardian. He is specific to Azure Moon. You can encounter him in Crimson Flower as an enemy. And as a matter of fact, you have to fight him in Crimson Flower as an enemy, and Felix as well if you did not recruit him.
You have our full support in stopping those dastards. I thank you for your help, both of you.
Good of you to come, Professor. I've heard much about you lately. Specifically, that you are able to awaken the Sword of the Creator's power. Thusly, it seems the true nature of your crest has been uncovered. I had, of course, seen your crest before. However, at first, I failed to recognize its true nature. Eventually, it dawned on me that what is visible is perhaps merely a small part of a greater whole. In other words, your crest is too significant to be detected when using normal instruments. After this discovery, I began researching crests that might fit that description, which allowed for a temporary hypothesis. However, I could not be certain. The crest my conclusions led me to was far too unusual. A crest thought to have disappeared from this world in the millennium since the fall of Nemesis, the King of Liberation. The crest of flames. That is what you possess. Your ability to wield the Sword of the Creator has unequivocally proven my hypothesis. A legendary power, dormant since time immemorial, and now resurrected. There can be no doubt that this ancient power resides within you.
Ah, within my empty skull, you mean? Okay. Alright, whose birthday is it? Manuela! Yes, host tea party. Why not? We'll take the free charm increase. I'll probably have to look up the answers because I don't usually take her to tea. Okay.
Thank you for your invitation. To what do I owe this surprise? What a lovely smell. I like this tea very much. Thank you.
Alright, let's see.
smells lovely.
What do you want to talk about, Manuela?
Huh?
You want to talk about overcoming weaknesses.
Oh. Huh?
The opera, very definitely.
Huh?
And probably likable allies. Yeah. There we go.
Am I that terrible of a woman?
Yes.
So I'm a little unkempt. What of it?
You're a mess. You're not just a little unkempt, you're a mess.
Thanks.
Oh, sorry, I did not want to skip that one. Anyway, there we go. I'm sorry, but Manuela is just one of those characters that I can't bring myself to 100% like, so. Yeah, I have allies who can take certifications. I actually have 2 allies who can take certifications, so let's buy one more item from the marketplace. One more seal. So, Dimitri gets to go on a horse. Oh, I already got an intermediate seal from the battle, right.
Good results.
Wow, yeah, that one magic point is definitely gonna help us a lot. And Felix gets to go into Archer.
Easy.
Yep. Dimitri is horsing around. Do we have any supports? Yes, we do. Oh, this should be good.
Hey Felix, you free? You don't look very busy. Let's go find some girls to chat with.
Chat with them by yourself. You're interrupting my training.
Hey, come on. Don't talk like that. How long have we known each other?
Long enough, if you ask me. We only know each other because of our parents' friendship. I didn't have a say in it.
Is that how it went? Huh. I remember it more like you always following me around. Whenever there was something wrong, like you lost to your brother, or you fought with Dimitri, you'd come crying to me. You were so meek and pure back then. Cute even. Like a baby brother.
That's enough.
What?
I said that's enough!
Hey, sorry. I just came to see if you wanted to pick up some girls. I didn't mean to get on your nerves.
Sure you didn't.
Look, you've been getting on my nerves for years. I've tried to be patient with you, but I'm tired of holding my tongue. You're reckless in your personal affairs and in battle, and you're always prattling on about women.
Well, if a man sees a pretty girl, he can't just let her pass by without commenting. That's just rude.
You're insatiable. Do you ever stop? Certainly not to practice your sword technique. You always skip training. And you never consider how your actions hurt others, or how you hold them back.
That's never my intention. Come on. You know me better than that. I'm not really... Look, if that's the impression I've given you, then I'm sorry.
Yeah, what you gonna do about it, Sylvain, huh? Like, I don't find myself agreeing with Felix very often, but I gotta agree here. Like, cut it out, man. Oh, now we get to geek out over chivalry.
Hi there, Ash. Here to do some reading as well, I take it? Ash?
Huh, Ingrid, you gave me a start. How long have you been standing there?
Not too long. Apologies for startling you. Must be a great book for you to be so deeply engrossed in it. What has you so captivated?
Oh, it's quite an old book. One of the really old legends of Fargus.
Aha! It must be the Sword of Kaifon then, yes?
Oh, so you know it.
Oh yes. I know it quite well. I read it often as a child. In fact, I read it so much that my personal copy fell apart. I brought it everywhere with me. I adore that book. The tale of the warrior Kaifan, whose devotion and loyalty enabled his best friend Lug to become king. He went to great lengths to see things through.
Exactly! I love the image of him charging forward into the fray, ready to take on any obstacle in the name of his king.
Indeed! He was the very picture of the perfect knight. In my opinion, the best chapter is right around the middle of the book.
Ah, the part about the war of the eagle and lion? That's my favorite part! In a flash, Kaifan's sword flew from its scabbard. The knight parried the assassin's blade mere inches from the spine of his king.
Kaifan's blade hummed like the wind, slashing the enemy's throat. In mere moments, their forces lay vanquished, decimated by his mighty blows. I can recite the entirety of it if you like. I never grow weary of that tale. The pinnacle of knighthood, with all its struggles and glory.
I know just what you mean. I never get tired of it. Some people laugh at me for reading these old tales, but I'll never outgrow them. I'm glad to find someone who shares my enthusiasm.
I'm glad of it as well. Tell me, what other books do you enjoy, Ash?
Well, the first one I ever read was Lug and the Maiden of Wind.
You have fantastic taste! That story is another favorite. The final chapter makes me tear up every time.
I know. When I first read it, I just couldn't get that ending out of my head.
It seems we have much in common. I look forward to chatting again sometime.
I'd love to. Yes, let's.
These two geeks. I have a feeling like there's gonna be a book club in Garrick Mark that just looks at old chivalry books.